grateful you could be here to talk about, or maybe even discover, more about Ray Dalio and his billionaire secret, 40 minutes of daily meditation explained. I'm your host, Andrea Ferguson. I'm also here with Shankar Ponsale. This is a mindfulness-based stress reduction session, and the goal is to have you walking away less stressed and to have some tips for how to deal with stress in everyday life. I wanted to let you know as well that we have a 4-day LinkedIn Live challenge to help you grow on LinkedIn. And if you want to know more about that, please click my profile or Shankar's or even Shanae's, who has joined us for a 4 days of beautiful mentoring, teaching, learning, for a challenge, a stretch, time to get outside of your comfort zone and apply all that you know about mindfulness so that you can show up for your network, for your audience, for the people that you serve through this challenge, this grow challenge to grow on LinkedIn. I wanted to introduce you a little bit to Ray Dalio through just a few things about him, and then I will play a short clip where you can hear even more. So, Ray Dalio is a billionaire, 72-year-old, I believe. He was born in 49, and he was the only child of a jazz musician. He worked from a young age, and he didn't work for himself. He wasn't employed for very long, actually. He ended up holding positions. First of all, he started trading in high school and college, and he was a Harvard MBA. But he started holding positions on the New York Stock Exchange trading floor. I was super young. He founded Bridgewater Associates in 1975 from a 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, and he grew to manage over $160 billion in assets. His quantitative models and macroeconomic analysis has been used even to this day, even though he started it in the 70s. And he has an investment philosophy that includes, get this, over 200 principles guiding the culture of the company and strategies. And this is not to say that he is without controversy, because his management style is intense. You are openly graded in front of everyone, apparently. And because he advocates for a culture of radical transparency and this idea meritocracy, which not everyone believes in. But I don't care about any of that. I care that he has notable achievements. He's joined Warren Buffett's Giving Pledge. There's philanthropy. He cares about economic quality, education, and ocean exploration. He says that's more important than space exploration, in his opinion. He founded OceanX with his son, Mark Dalio, and he has almost been like a prophetic figure in investment, done a lot of predictions, and it's got him to where he is now. But why? What would help you navigate a global financial crisis successfully? Sometimes yes, and sometimes not, but enough to become a billionaire and have this legacy, this known as this hedge fund guru, the biggest one of the biggest ones. If you think it has anything to do with mindfulness and meditation and you are reading is fundamental, give me a thumbs up or a heart. Maybe his success has something to do with his mindset. Absolutely. He's such a strong advocate of meditation, and he attributes much of his success to this practice. And sometimes even he says that's the single most important thing. So I want you to hear from him yourself, and I want you to think about how what he says here really stands out to me about work-life balance, because the idea, first of all, it doesn't really work out that way. I believe in work-life harmony. And if you are an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you understand there is no real balance in business. Give me a thumbs up if you believe that. There is no balance in business. You are the business and you have to keep it running, especially if there are people whose livelihoods depend on you. You have multiple salaries, or even not, you're just helping people in the world, and you know that what you possess is so great, you cannot afford to always treat yourself or have a day off. But if you can harness your focus and your attention to be more productive with the time that you have, essentially you can gain back some time and then really put that time to more use, more time with your family, or more time going and traveling or studying. And so he does this. Obviously, you can see the connection there, but it's through meditation and through mindfulness. And I want to play just a little clip here. So let me get that for you.
Of mixing them together and then giving them each their own.
One moment.
Time. I think the key, a lot of people face the work-life balance question. And I think that they view it largely as a trade-off. And of course, it is a trade-off. But if one learns how to get more out of an hour, you can have much more in your life. The capacity of how to squeeze in as much life into life, that's a skill.
I've learned a lot from Ray about prioritization.
This is Ariana
and
Huffington.
His 80-20 rule. Anyone, whether you're a leader or not, can spend 100% of your time doing little things, but not doing the most important thing. So spending most of your time on the 20% that is really critical makes such a huge difference, as opposed to filling your time with all the things that can either be delegated or postponed, but are not going to be critical for the business.
I meditate. I do transcendental meditation. I've done that for over 50 years. And I find that gives me an equanimity and a creativity that allows me to navigate these things better. It's really that, because the work-life balance question is one of the big questions that everybody faces.
How did the Beatles get you into meditation?
The Beatles went over to India and they meditated, and then they set up Transcendental Meditation, set up these schools. There was one in New York. I was, I think, 19 years old, something like that. And I wanted to learn. And so I went to the school, and that has had a fabulous impact on my life, because the brain is in layers. In other words, there's a conscious part of our brain, and then there's a subconscious and an unconscious part of our brain. And what meditation does, by giving a word called a mantra, it's a sound really, and you repeat that in your mind, it gets you out of your conscious brain. Normally, you can't sit there and say, I'm not going to think. You'll think. By doing this little brain exercise and repeating that sound, you don't think about ideas, and eventually the sound disappears and you transcend into the subconscious part of your brain. That's where creativity and equanimity come from. So the creativity, if you want to be creative, it's not like you consciously muscle your creativity. It's more you take a hot shower and a great creative idea comes to you, because it bubbles up from that part. And it also gives you the calmness to be able to look at all the things that are coming at you. It's almost like in a ninja movie. Everything just seems panic. It's coming at you. You're dealing with it. It gives you that equanimity. I started back then, and it has given me a lot of those types of things that have.
Okay, so show of thumbs if you understand why someone with a net worth of over $20 billion, someone who is one of the most successful hedge fund managers globally, someone who is basically a powerhouse in this industry, would need to find a way to gain back some calm through meditation. I think we all understand, controversial or not, he's successful. He has built a legacy for sure. Beyond his profits, he's still crediting his longevity and his mental clarity to his rigorous daily meditation practice. And so his story is pretty compelling, and it's inspiration for me. I hope it's inspiration for you to seek to be the master of your mind, because his journey is incredible. His journey with meditation, it started early in his career, which he started working at 12 years old. And when he started trading and doing all those other things and even getting an MBA at Harvard, he felt overwhelmed by the high-stake decisions that he faced every day. And like all of us who experience the symptoms of stress, anxiety, insomnia sometimes, diminished returns at work, you seek solutions. We all have, living in this human condition, we all have symptoms of living in this human condition. And so these results are incredible that you get from just meditating. Maybe it's praying, maybe it's yoga. For him, it's transcendental meditation and hanging out with the Beatles. After just a month, he had expanded his mental acuity. And something that I love that he talks about, and you can come up to the stage and ask questions or open your mic for you too, Shanae and Shankar that are on the stage. But I love that he talks about how you get greater creativity, because I believe that is one of our biggest assets as entrepreneurs, is having creativity. And so I relate when he talks about being in the shower. There's an idea that comes to you and you grab onto it. And for him, that shower is through meditation that he does twice a day through 20-minute reps of transcendental meditation, which is saying something like Om. For example, you've heard Om, you can hear it, right? This would be something you transcend. And whether you believe in it or not, like this particular practice, that's not really the point. It's about finding what works for you in your journey that allows you to find clarity, that allows you to have immense power that no one else can give you that gift but you. It's about integrating it into your routine, building it, being consistent with it, being dedicated to yourself. If a man who's been practicing this for 50 years is calling it the single biggest influence on his success, I think you should all give yourselves a hand clap, a pat on the back, a hug for just being here and being curious and being willing to explore the idea of meditation. And we know there's lots of research to confirm these experiences. There are tangible things, reduction in the stress hormone cortisol, in blood pressure, in cardiac problems, in cognitive decline. You get mental resilience, and you have improved focus and emotional regulation. There's brain scans that back it up, that show the different areas that light up, which is very interesting when you turn on the meditation, what stops being activated and what starts to be activated. Learning, memory, all of these things. You change your brain when you become mindful, and you physically, literally change your brain structure. You increase the gray matter density, lower inflammatory markers, lower blood pressure, as I said. Your heart rate gets better by triggering the relaxation response. When you are dealing with moving billions in your company, this counters the toll of chronic stress, and it gives you back more time in your day so you can spend it with loved ones or doing things that are enjoyable. So I hope I've made a good case for why meditation has these immediate and lasting cognitive and psychological benefits, and why it's crucial for effectiveness and longevity, and why we as founders, as entrepreneurs, when we're facing these immense pressures and high-risk decisions and demand workloads and all this uncertainty, instead of becoming reactive and scattered by the turbulence, we can really hone in on that practice, on mindfulness, and we can see miracles. So Shankar, Shanae, if you'd like to add something, how do you manage when there is uncertainty or there's high-risk decisions? How do you make this a part of your practice to remove some of the distorted biases that we have from decision-making, to get calm and creative and approach challenges? And this is for anyone, by the way, who would like to come up to the stage. Click the raise hand button. We'll bring you up here and you can share.
What an interesting question. First of all, today was amazing. Give Andrea a clap here, everyone. This was just so interesting how you combined all of that theory to something that is very tangible for all of us. And it's so interesting. We hear these wisdoms in so many facets over and over again, and it really always boils down to a very simple rule, which is have enough calm and self-awareness to apply what the woman said in your recording, to apply enough discipline so that you can find the self-control to spend most of your time on the 20% that produces 80% of the results. And it's just so hard to do that if you don't have a stable mind and you have goals that you know are the goals you want to pursue, and you know what you need to do to reach those goals. And the what you need to do is usually the 20%, and you need that mental stability to not be distracted by the whirlwind of every day, by all the different forces that pull us in all the different directions. And yeah, that's why practicing meditation is so important. To answer your question about how do I personally deal with risk and staying calm, I think everybody needs to know what they need to set up in place to stay calm and feel safe when taking risk. So what is your safety net, and how strong does your safety net have to be? And I think everybody needs to really ask themselves that question, is what is a safety net often comprises of a financial buffer in your life, but not always. For some people, it's knowing that they are surrounded by a powerful network, by a strong and healthy and happy family, or a combination of that. But define for yourself, what is the buffer? What is the safety network that allows you to do some acrobatics up in the air, right? And when you have found out what that is for you, when you have found out what your hunger and willingness for risk is based on your safety net, then it works so much better. To give you an example, and then I'll hand it back to you, Andrea. I personally have an unusual high amount of cash in my savings account, and we know all the most financial advisors tell you, don't let that sit in your account. You need to make your money work for you. But for me, that is my safety net, my buffer, my type of safety net that lets me do my business acrobatics, right? So it's a very personal decision, and you need to find out what it is for you, and it's really freeing. So that's my long answer to your question. Great question, Andrea.
I have another question for you.
Go.
Thank you so much for sharing that, though. So my question is, we've seen the miracles that, having that in place, and the daily routine that you have, and all of these kinds of things. So what happens when you don't have that calm? What happens when you skip, when you don't have that anchor? What grounds you? What keeps you?
Yeah. First of all, I need everyone to understand that it is human to fall off the perfect path, right? It is human to just, you and I, we are very good in following routines, but then we spend some time abroad, and due to the time change and everything, we fell off. But that is human. We wouldn't be humans if we worked perfectly like machines all the time. So I think it's when you fall off, whatever your path of equanimity is, that is a mini failure, and we all learn from our failures, right? So I think for me, the most important aspect of such a situation in life is look at it and say, what was unrealistic about this? Where was the expectation set too high? And how can I adjust my expectations so that doesn't happen again? That is one option. The other one is just accepting that there are seasons and phases in life, and that sometimes we work hard to later enjoy the fruit of our labor a little bit. That's the concept of people who are not entrepreneurs. That's the concept of a vacation, right? Something that I haven't had in 15 years, and I don't really crave it all that much. But most people do, and that is okay. And so you just gotta have to find out what it is for you in life.
So you mentioned something important, and it's something that Ray Dalio was talking about. He talks about it a lot, and it is a key concept central to mindfulness, to meditation, and that's equanimity. And we did have a room on that, but for those that, just a reminder. So equanimity is a state of psychological stability and composure. And that state is undisturbed by experience, by the experience of or exposure to emotions, to pain, or other phenomena that may cause others to lose the balance of their mind. Show of thumbs, if you like, having the balance of your mind. But as Shankar said, it's not possible to never, ever not lose it. We all lose it. But for entrepreneurs, this is crucial because it means facing the highs and the lows of business with a balanced, calm approach instead of being unhinged. And so I think if you get off track and off the path, as you were saying, and Shankar and I, we are a near 40s couple, unmarried. We don't have a lot of family here where we live, and we have very few responsibilities outside of our business. We don't own pets anymore. And we recognize that it's
You don't have children?
Didn't I say that? Maybe my pets are
I
children.
don't know. That falls on the family, maybe.
Yes.
Stop throwing shade. They're just trying to flex because they could just pick up and go travel whenever. Shanae's got a plan with these dogs.
But Shanae, you're superhuman. And that for certain, show of hearts for Shanae showing up. I don't think I have ever told her, but I am so grateful, so blessed, and so honored that in spite of all of the things that you do, granted, she has a superhuman ability to do parallel processing, and it's beyond multitasking. She's basically a computer, according to the computers. But I have to hand it to you, the ability to keep your calm and composure and show up. If you learn nothing from the 4-day LinkedIn challenge that is next week from Shanae and Shankar, it is the art of showing up. You will never know what is going on in the background, and that is a skill. For some, it's a talent, it's a skill, but it's definitely, there's some kind of internal anchor, Shanae, that you have. And with these few minutes, if you want to weigh in, please do let us know. How do you keep your composure? How do you stay grounded? What is it?
How do I keep my composure? I guess the more you do the work, it's really 3 years ago, I would have never been able to handle the pressure that I handle now. It would have been a wrap. I would have probably had a breakdown with 1 hour of pressure. of what I could handle now. And I think it's a process of just being able to withstand and make decisions under more and more pressure, because it's like climbing a mountain, right? The higher you get, there's just more pressure. It's just the natural process of it. But if you don't do more, then you can't handle more.
And so when you're going into high pressure situations, is there any breath work or any thought that you think? Is there anything particular that you do?
I don't do any intentional breath work, but what I will do is I probably think about it 100 times or 1,000 times before I enter that situation. So I think that's also part of it. It's like reserving a mental space to think about almost every outcome and think about how you could prepare before you even get into that situation.
It's like quantum thinking. That's next level. That's neat.
And it's like practice. If I throw 10 tomatoes at you, like 9 are going to fall, but eventually you're probably going to hit almost every tomato and get better and better. So I feel like growing as an entrepreneur is just becoming a better and better problem solver under any circumstance.
Yeah, go ahead, Shankar.
No, I just have to add the how you build up your life with pets, children, and all of that. That's an important part of the safety net that I was referring to. And it's just knowing what it is that you want and need, and then establishing that in your life and having the boldness to say, I want this path or I want the other path. And the last thing I will say also in terms of equanimity in business, in regards to the upcoming challenge, we all as business owners and entrepreneurs, we know that we constantly need to have a way to expose our ideas and our services, the way we can bring value to the world, expose that to a high quality audience. And that is really what, in my personal journey as an entrepreneur, what LinkedIn has brought to me. And I just wish that everybody has that, because it brings so much calmness in that sense. But you need to know what to do and how to navigate this platform, which is so powerful. And that is where that challenge comes in place. And we show that in a way where it's easy to understand how to apply that to your situation.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here with us today. And
tell them how to sign up for the challenge, Andrea.
Go to yougrow.club or click any one of our faces and click the link underneath. It'll take you to a landing page. You sign up, you show up, and you learn and you grow. And if you need anything else, you can also DM any one of us and we'll help you walk through it. It's very simple though. So I hope this provided a glimpse into the value of developing a meditation practice. Please let me know. DM me if you have any other questions as we conclude today. Again, I encourage you to join us for the upcoming Grow Challenge for tools to expand your business, and they've done the work for you. So anyway, have a beautiful, mindful day, and remember to be consistent and mindful, and may your meditation journey unlock your full potential too. See you on Monday. Bye-bye.